Oh, hey there, my beautiful, wonderful subscribers. You guys are always showing me so much love, so much compassion. Our fan base is growing every day. You guys are always there to rep for me. I appreciate y'all. And as a token of my appreciation, I wanted to offer y'all something, all right? I got this exclusive Horrorlander club that I'm going to be opening up, all right? Sponsored by Brought Studios, the people who brought you some fire content, which is basically me as an individual. I can let y'all into the club, but y'all just gotta do something for me, just real quick. It's no big deal, but I need y'all to eat some of this candy right here. No, don't worry about what brand it is. All right, it's just that good shit. But take a bite real quick. Come on, go ahead. No, I said if you enjoy me, you don't love me, you don't love me, you don't support me. Open your goddamn mouth. There's no problem with it. Open it up and eat it.
That's it. Hey, listen, you're gonna feel a little bit woozy for the next few hours, but don't worry. Just lay down on this bed over here real quick, and I'll get you into your initiation.
As easy as taking candy from a baby. You dig? Without further ado, let's get into the review that we got for today. That's right. We're going to be getting back into The Haunting Hour. Now, this is a kids' horror show, which has a special place in my heart because Goosebumps was older. It came out before the time I was born. Same with Are You Afraid of the Dark? So I ended up watching a lot of reruns of those shows. But Haunting Hour came out weekly when I was a kid, so I got to watch this show weekly. I used to watch every new episode that came out from the very first season until like the end of season 3 pretty much. And I specifically remember the episode that I'm covering today. This is one fucking crazy ass, wild ass episode. So let's get into The Haunting Hour, Alien Candy. The episode opens up with the two main characters involving the story. The main character is Waltz, and his best friend is named Tim. I'm not gonna lie to you, Tim looked like a bootleg ass Ravi from Jesse. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
I think that's ever gonna wash out my hair? Because Halloween was like 2 weeks ago.
Bro, if y'all say that Tim looked like me, bro, I dare y'all. I dare y'all to say that motherfucker Tim look like me, bro, because I will beat y'all motherfucking ass, bro. Don't think that because it's behind the camera that you safe, bro. I'm gonna find you, bro. Do not say that he looks like me, bro. All right, he kind of looked like me. Man, not all Indians look alike. So Waltz is basically a super geeky kind of guy. Same with Tim. They're kind of nerds. They like all the nerdy type of stuff. But the main thing that they're super into is learning about extraterrestrials. And Waltz is very much obsessed with extraterrestrials. He has a whole book about it that explains various different conspiracies and government projects and estimations on like how much intelligent life there could be out there. And of course, because they are geeks, because they banter as such, they end up getting targeted by some bullies. And ironically, the bullies look like older versions of Waltz and Tim. Like, they just picked a big Indian dude and another taller white guy who had, like, long hair as well. They look like older versions of those dudes. So I thought that was a little bit of a funny choice. And they end up getting into an argument with the bullies. The bullies end up pushing them. Waltz falls into, like, the cafeteria lady's tray of food items, knocks over her famous homemade nuggets. And next thing you know, the bully and then Waltz ends up getting called into the lunch lady's cafeteria back office and then sort of try to help her out with the whole mess. And while that happens, Waltz's extraterrestrial book ends up getting sent flying across the cafeteria. And next thing you know, it ends up in the hands of these two mysterious, very quiet kids named Bonnie and Greg. And their behavior is super weird. They act like straight up bots. They act like NPCs. They got like some weird, ominous type of vibe with them.
Only a 6th grader.
His intellect is what counts.
And the character, Greg, he's actually played by a legend, dude, because I sort of recognized it when I first saw him, so I had to go look it up on the IMDb page. The dude who plays Greg in this episode is Matthew Knight, who, for those of you who don't know, he played the main character, the protagonist, in one of the best Disney sitcoms of all time that I used to watch so much as a kid, My Babysitter's a Vampire. That's right. This is Matthew Knight from My Babysitter's a Vampire. This dude is a legend, bro. I loved My Babysitter's a Vampire, one of my favorite Disney sitcoms of all time. Bonnie and Greg, you then find out, seem to be interested in extraterrestrial life as well, and they take a particular interest in Waltz, saying that he's a right candidate for their exclusive club to recruit him, and that his intellect is high enough that he can be featured within. So you kind of get the red herring that, this might be a sort of science club, a STEM club, maybe something targeting why he's so smart, or maybe just some nerdy hobby. But you also get the hint that there might be something more sinister clearly going on from their very odd dialogue and behavior. Next thing you know, Bonnie and Greg end up approaching Waltz. They invite him into this secret club, and they explain it that they're very much interested in extraterrestrial life as well. They're interested in alien life. They know about all these various different conspiracies and government projects that Waltz knows, and it's one of those very detailed things that only real, alien heads know about it. No pun intended. One of that is called Operation Blue Bridge, I believe the name is, which is a government project that basically prohibits human contact from extraterrestrial contact life out there to kind of gatekeep a little bit. But they say that they have gotten into contact with aliens and that they show this various different, files and technology, and they pull out this kind of glowing blue stone that they say is sort of biometric technology that they actually received from alien contact. Now, you should also question why Waltz is not raising an eyebrow, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson style, at the fact that some middle school kids basically have access to this technology. Like, why wouldn't you question that? Why are these kids possessing this technology and, not a government official that's keeping it behind like 40-inch grade steel doors at a bank vault at Fort Knox? Like, Waltz is very much engrossed within it. He's not basically looking into the details, and he ends up getting basically hyped up that people actually want to invite him within the secret club, that to a club that fits his interest, because Waltz is always getting bullied. He's always getting picked on. He's always getting, showed out. But here now, he finally gets a chance to kind of meet some people that are like him. But they have a very weird request. And their request is that they basically hand over a bag of these blue jelly beans and say that you need to eat these as supplements because it'll give you the ability to basically telepathically communicate with alien life. And these are also some findings that they got from Operation Blue Bridge.
Jelly beans? It's not really candy. It's a special supplement formulated by a government lab.
Yo, they gave this motherfucker fentanyl, bro. Ain't no way, boy. Ain't no way, boy. They got this man on the fent, bro. I caught it. I saw that shit. And I was like, yo, is that fent? Are they giving homeboy the fent, bro? Nah, man. Listen, bro. They finna have the geeking. It's finna be geeking squared. Like, yo, bro, there's no way you just take a bag full of these magic jelly beans and think that you're gonna get away, bro. You finna be on cloud 9. That's how they're communicating to the aliens. It's not telepathically. No, the motherfucker just thinks he's talking telepathically. We don't know what the fuck you talking to, but we know you on Jupiter right now, and there ain't no coming down. But unfortunately, they got that man hooked on the fent, bro. Listen, bro, this is how they get y'all, bro. You think it's like drug dealers out there? You think that, there's some people out there that are selling this shit? Nah, bro, it's these middle school kids, bro. They out here with Operation Blue Bridge, bro. It ain't Operation Blue Bridge, bro. It's Operation High Bridge, because you finna be on a high bridge, my boy. So, of course, Waltz ends up taking the candy. He starts eating the jelly beans, treating it as, proper supplements. He believes everything that they say. But they have one condition. This is a very confidential, exclusive club, so he cannot talk about this club with anybody else, which is a problem because then he has to talk to Tim. He has to basically bring up the fact that he got invited to a club, but he can't tell Tim about what exactly the club is. And because, obviously, Waltz is acting weird, the Fent, Tim catches on and realizes that his friend is sort of acting weird, acting strange, and sort of starts to distance himself from it.
Come on. You can't tell me there's something you can't tell me, and then not tell me.
With bad acting. I distance myself away from the believability of this episode at certain points based off your dialogue, buddy. But then that causes Waltz to essentially go up to Bonnie and Greg and try to reel in Tim, try to convince that they should select him because he believes in aliens. He's fascinated with it. But Bonnie and Greg are very strange. They're very standoffish. They become hostile and aggressive and say that he's not a fit candidate. He doesn't have the IQ that you do. So Waltz reluctantly agrees. And next thing you know, one night as he's falling asleep after he's eaten like a whole half a bag of these candies, next thing you know, he wakes up in the middle of the night with this glowing creep show on the nose green light.
What are you guys doing here?
Can't wait any longer.
And when he wakes up, he sees that Bonnie and Greg are all of a sudden in his house, in his crib, in his room. And right away, he's thinking like, how did y'all get here? And right away, before he can even react or do something about it, they end up taking that living electronic, that blue glowing stone, and they end up putting it over his body, and he ends up freezing up. That Fent caught up to him. The effects are kicking in. He basically freezes up and he can't move. And then Greg ends up taking this syringe, goes up, pulls down his sock, puts it inside of his foot and extracts some blood. And next thing you know, you see that, Bonnie and Greg are actually aliens. They transform into aliens. And I have to commend the fact of the makeup department because these are some very freaky ass alien designs. Yeah, they look pretty typical in terms of your stereotypical alien design, but the way that the eyes move around, the way that they got these sharp ass, like, piranha teeth, the way that they got, those weird gestures and movements, it definitely freaked me out as a kid. And even as an adult, it's still a little bit freaky to watch them move around, to watch their eyes move, to see their little piranha mouths move. Next thing you know, you see that Greg ends up basically taking a bite out of Waltz's toe. Yeah, he ends up biting off his little toe, eats it. Waltz obviously is completely paralyzed. He starts freaking out. But next thing you know, they reveal that they cannot finish eating Waltz because they gave him the candy in order to neutralize all the viruses and possible, human diseases he may possess, to kind of clean him out and then therefore freeze his body to eat him up. This is how it's revealed that these aliens go from people to people, get these kids, make them eat the candy, and then end up eating them for food supplements to get supplements, you feel me? But they reveal that they can't eat him because he has a genetic defect, and you find out it's because he's a redhead. They really threw a stray at redheads, man. Gingers are catching strays. That was an unjustified stray, man. I'm not gonna lie. I saw that stray and I was like, boy, ain't no way, bro. I started laughing my ass off. And the reason why they didn't know he was a redhead was because there's a minor plot point in the beginning that he was trying to get ready for like Halloween and he ended up dyeing his hair, and that's why his hair looks darker than normal. So that minor plot point gets brought up conveniently here for this plot twist, but at least it's explained somewhat, although it's still pretty shaky. And next thing you know, they end up deciding, well, we can't finish off Waltz, so we're going to go after Tim. They start getting Tim invited into the club. They start giving him the candy. And next, Waltz thinks maybe it was a bad dream. Maybe he was freaking out. But when he's in the locker room, he ends up basically pulling out his sock and sees that his little toe actually did get bitten off. It is a freaky ass scene. I'm not going to lie to you. And then he realizes that they actually did neutralize him and then try to feast on him. And next, he gets confronted by Bonnie. Bonnie basically shoves him against the ground, ties his shoelace, talks to him and says, don't say anything, otherwise there's going to be a problem. And then she flashes her eyes and her teeth, her piranha teeth, and he realizes, oh shit, we're in trouble. He then basically tries to take it upon himself to try to save Tim. The bullies get involved and then end up throwing him into a trash can and locking him in there.
Let me out!
Somebody smells like shit. Somebody smells like shit. So then Waltz ends up basically breaking out of the trash can. He ends up going and confronting the aliens. He ends up getting into a little bit of a confrontation with them. Frees Tim. They try hiding in the kitchen to try to get away from Bonnie and Greg. It's intense. It's pretty scary. And then I'll leave the ending alone. But the ending is pretty gross. Pretty nasty considering what happens. So overall, this episode is a very wild ride. It's very crazy. There's a lot of on-the-nose humor that kind of makes this a horror comedy. There's a lot of humor mixed in with the actual freaky, weird stuff. I do have to commend the makeup department again. The costumes for the aliens, for Bonnie and Greg, are very good. Again, they're typical alien designs, stereotypical, but I do like the way that their eyes move, the piranha teeth. They're very freaky for some reason. I can't quite put a finger on it. And on top of that, that whole kitchen scene where they basically have Waltz and Tim trying to hide from Bonnie and Greg kind of reminded me of that scene with the velociraptors from Jurassic Park. It's very intense, very creepy. You've seen scenes like that before, but they always get to me. And I thought it was pretty well done, all things considered here. The one problem with the episode is like the acting is not that good. It's very sort of corny, cheesy acting at certain points. The pacing is a little bit too fast at certain points, and it kind of feels all over the place with certain small plot lines. But in terms of the actual episode concept, I do like it. It is a simple episode plot line, but it works. It also feels like they got slightly inspired off Calling All Creeps, the iconic and famous Goosebumps book and episode adaptation. You get that sort of feeling all present throughout it. And this episode does genuinely feel a lot more like Goosebumps than it does Haunting Hour. It feels like something you might have seen on the Goosebumps show, or maybe a story that R.L. Stine would have wrote. And this episode is one of the few episodes that is adapting from an already established R.L. Stine story. It's one of the many stories from his short story collection, The Nightmare Hour. So Alien Candy is present, it's an adaptation, but this episode expands on it so much that they're almost barely related. The short story of Alien Candy had some great art, but it was very simple, very to the point. It really was sort of like a short story. There really wasn't much to it. It was really relying on one big punchline at the end. And yeah, there really wasn't much to it. It was a basic-ass short story. I think I gave it like a 6 out of 10. But the episode expands on it a lot more. So overall, with the episode having creepy, freaky scenes, you do get that scene of his toe actually getting bitten off, and that is very creepy. You get that very intense kitchen scene. I do like the overall plot line of the episode, and the ending is very gross, very nasty. You don't really understand what the ending necessarily means. It's a little vague, but it is there for gross out. The weaknesses, though, of the acting, the kind of all over the place pacing, the fast pacing, I'd probably give this episode like a 7.5 out of 10. Or no, you know what? I'll give it a 7.8 out of 10. This is a pretty good episode. It's up there close to being just a flat out good episode. If they did some minor tweaks, if they took some other direction changes, I think this definitely would have been one episode that a lot of people would remember. That's all I got for today. 7.5 out of 10. Alien Candy. Do I recommend that you watch it? Yeah, go check it out. It's pretty fun. If you like Goosebumps, this is a more Goosebumps feeling episode. I think that if you give into the weirdness, the craziness, you're going to have a good time. And the main moral of the story is to stay off the fence, man. What the fuck, dude? Listen, man. Don't get caught up with that extraterrestrial shit, bro. You gonna be an extraterrestrial, but just up here, not physically, bro. If you enjoy this video, a free way to support me without having to eat any more candy is to just hit that subscribe button down below, hit that like button, comment down below your thoughts and opinions. How do you feel about this episode? Have you watched it before? Do you disagree or agree with me? What are some other episodes you recommend that I check out for the Haunting Hour to specifically review? And most importantly, have a God-blessed day. Make sure you stay healthy, stay proper, and make sure to enjoy your Christmas. It's not a Christmas episode, but this is the last video I'm going to be making for a while. I want to take a little bit of a break. Not a super long break, but at least a few days till next week to upload more videos, just because I want to enjoy the rest of the holidays with my family. So, have a God-blessed day, and goodbye.
Arrivederci.